I tried Haruki Murakami's insane writing routine, and it changed my life. Without this routine, Murakami says it's impossible to write a novel, and it contains 3 essential steps that led him to become Japan's best-selling author. And it starts with the first step, building the foundation to write a novel. 97% of aspiring authors never finish a novel because they don't have the right foundation. You see, to write a novel, you need to have characters, settings, theme, plot, and an idea in mind. But there's one thing that is more important than everything I just mentioned, and that is the ability to bring these thoughts onto the page. And for that to happen, Murakami believes you need to have the ability to concentrate for a long time. Writing requires focus. Ideas are easy, the execution is the hard part. So Murakami's entire day is set out to help him focus on his writing. Because of that, he wakes up each morning at 4 AM to be free of any distraction. There's no noise, no messages, no social plans, and probably no work or school for you. So it's early in the morning and I still have to work, and I've never been so productive. It's been day 3 since I've been waking up at 4 AM, and honestly, it is a bit exhausting. But waking up early isn't the only thing he does. Before he starts writing his books, he prepares for them. How does he do that? Murakami believes that you need to only work on one project at a time. Writing a novel is such a challenging task that he doesn't work on any other writing project until his novel is finished. So before writing, he either finishes his other project or breaks them off and cleans his entire desk to be free of distractions and to have space for his new book, which leads us to the next thing he does to maintain focus. He mesmerizes himself to reach a deep state of mind. You see, Murakami writes for 4 to 5 hours every day, which totals to around 1600 words a day, which are around 5 pages. He does this without a fail every day, and because of this repetition, he enters a flow state. A flow state is a condition in which a person experiences intense focus and forgets everything around them and just concentrates on the task at hand. And because of this repetition, he will reach a deep state of mind, according to himself. And even if he doesn't feel like it, he will force himself to fill these 5 pages. But on the other hand, he also doesn't write more than that, even if he feels like it. Because to finish such a big project, like writing a novel, you need to maintain a steady pace. That can't work if you write a lot one day and nothing at all the next day, according to Murakami. His motto is to write a little every day, without hope and without despair. By viewing his writing like a regular job he clocks in and out of, Murakami removes the pressure from him. He doesn't see himself like an artist, but just someone who writes 5 pages each day. And because of this, Murakami's mentality, when it comes to writing, is cold and detached. Before we come to the most important part, how Murakami found his unique writing style that captured millions of readers, we first have to look at the last thing he does every day to maintain his focus when writing, and that is training. Writing a novel is like survival training. Physical strength is as necessary as artistic sensitivity. To be able to write for 4 to 5 hours every day, Murakami says it's essential to train your body for this task. And because of that, Murakami runs 6.2 miles each day, and sometimes even goes swimming on top of that. So I obviously had to try also this part of the routine, but A, I'm not a runner, B, I had to work for some of the days, and C, I'm not a runner. This is more exhausting than I thought. So I did try a couple of times in the beginning to run, but it definitely was not 6.2 miles, and it definitely didn't last an hour, more like 10 minutes. But I tried to walk every day 10,000 steps or cycle indoors. But if you look at it scientifically, does running really help with writing? Well, Murakami was really onto something, because the dopamine and serotonin that gets released while running not only enhances mood and focus, but also improves your concentration, which is vital if you want to write a novel. But running not only helps with focus, but also with resilience. In the book Spark, written by John Ray, one of his findings was that students who exercise on a regular basis scored 20% higher than average. But I think the reason why Murakami says everything he knows about writing he learned through running is because both activities are so similar. Writing a book isn't a sprint, it's like running a marathon. The goal is to finish it and always improve. You can measure both how long it took you to write and how long it took you to run a marathon. Murakami says the point is whether or not I improved over yesterday. In long distance running, the only opponent you have to beat is yourself, the way you used to be. And that's very similar to writing. The only thing that you need to overcome is your own resilience. resistance and your own doubt. He views creativity as a muscle that requires training through physical exercise to build mental and physical stamina for writing marathons. Which leads us to the second and most important step of Murakami's 3-step formula to write a novel, and that is finding your style. You see, Murakami didn't start writing until he was almost 30. He didn't go to college for writing, and he says he didn't have an inborn talent for it. He had no clue where to start and thought his writing was hopeless. So how did he become such a great writer? To find his style and improve his writing, there are 2 things Murakami did, and the first is unlearning what he knew. Like most writers, Murakami had a lot of preconceived ideas about what a great novel was supposed to be. So like most of us, he tried to write in a similar way in which those novels were written. But that was his problem. His work felt boring and cold. So he made a decision. Why not forget all these ideas about how a novel and literature was supposed to be, and instead write down your feelings and thoughts as they come to you, freely in a way that you like. And he did that by starting to write in English instead of Japanese. After doing that, he discovered one essential lesson he needed to follow when writing his books. Simplify. Writing in your native language can be overwhelming. You have unlimited ways to express yourself, and that freedom can make your writing unclear. Writing in English forced Murakami to simplify. The limitations actually helped him express his ideas more clearly. Murakami discovered that he should use words he's comfortable with, even if they sound simple. A lot of writers think they need to make their work sound profound and use complex metaphors and sentences, but Murakami does the opposite. He realized he didn't need to use difficult words or styles to say what he wanted to say. He uses easy words, understandable metaphors, and simpler sentence structures. You must use the language you're most capable in to your advantage. Make it into a weapon and describe things which appear to you most clearly, using the words that suit you best. But not only did writing in a foreign language teach him to simplify, but when he translated his work back into Japanese, he discovered a unique style and rhythm. So I followed his example. So I decided to write 2 pages of my novel in English to see if it actually improves my work, and I noticed 2 things while doing that. First, I stopped overanalyzing and overthinking each sentence and words and tried to find better ones, and it was really freeing. Second, I noticed it really does remove the pressure because I really didn't have any great expectations while writing in English. But while doing this, I didn't find a unique rhythm like Murakami, but maybe you will find one if you try it. So if you don't speak another language, I would recommend just try to write as simply and understandably as possible, or just as natural as you can, and not to wear your editor hat while writing. The second way Murakami improved his writing is by reflecting. You see, with everything he writes, Murakami has one goal: to show the uniqueness of each individual soul. Though many would say, and I would agree, that he doesn't portray the souls and the personality of his female characters that well. And by really observing the world around you, the people you meet, the conversations you have, you can draw from these experiences when writing. When it comes to characters, Murakami writes, novels must have characters that act, speak, and do unpredictable things. They have to still be real, but unpredictable, and must advance the story. Like real-life humans who don't act the same way every day, your characters should reflect that. Now we come to the final step in Murakami's process that makes or breaks his novels, and that is the editing. Murakami has found a unique editing process for his books that starts exactly 1 week after finishing his first draft and is split into 4 phases, because if you would try to fix all these things with one rewrite, it may be too overwhelming. So here's Murakami's process. The first phase is the most brutal part of the editing. He starts at the beginning of his books and leaves nothing untouched. He checks if the plot makes sense and if there are any inconsistencies. If something doesn't make sense, he just cuts it out and it's gone forever. Here he also checks, does the timeline work? Do the characters suddenly change? Do any sections need to be cut or expanded? He finishes this first rewrite after a month or 2 and then waits for another week before the second rewrite takes place. Here Murakami looks at the details of the novel. He changes dialogues to sound better or have the right tone. He fixes descriptions to make them sound more natural, fixes his characters, makes complex or hard to read sections easier, and fixes the details of his novel. After he's done with the second rewrite, he takes another 1 week break before he starts with the third rewrite. This phase is essential, but this time there's no cutting involved. What Murakami does instead is check if his novel is balanced. Are there spaces that the reader can breathe? Are there parts that need to be a little more tightened. This phase is essential to see if your novel has a good flow. Now we come to the last part of the editing process. Before he starts it, he takes his longest break, oftentimes leaving his script untouched for 2 weeks to a month, just putting it in a drawer and forgetting it. The time spent not working on a novel is important, but the time spent doing nothing is no less so. During this time, he either takes a trip or works on his translation projects. He does this so he's able to look at his work with fresh eyes. New details jump out at Murakami that he hadn't noticed before. I can sense what has depth and what doesn't. And now to the most important part. Did Murakami's routine actually help me to first, write more than usual, second, help me become a better writer, and last, finish 150 pages in 1 month? Usually I write about 10 to 20 pages a week, so around 40 to 80 pages during a month. And most of those pages I write during the weekend. But with Murakami's routine I wrote way more than that, because you need to write around 5 pages each day. But before we talk about how many pages I actually wrote, did writing with Murakami's routine actually make me a better writer? To be honest, I'm not sure. While I do feel like my writing has become way more clear and simple and understandable because I tried writing in English, I can't say for sure that my writing is better than before. Did I finish 150 pages during this month? The truth is no. So after almost 2/3 of the way, I stopped doing the routine. Why? First, I got sick, and second, after having 2 weeks off, I needed to work again. And honestly, writing each day for 5 hours and then going to work for another 8 is insane, and I couldn't do it for the reminder of the challenge. I love writing early in the morning and I find it to be super productive. So instead of writing now every day 5 hours, I try to write at least 1 hour in the morning. So if you're a morning person and have the time, I highly recommend trying this routine. But if not, maybe the next routine I'll show you is better for you. So please subscribe for more videos. If you liked it, leave a comment, like, and share it or don't. And thank you for watching. It means the world to me.